I mean, where the fuck should I really even start? I got hoes that I'm keeping in the dark. I got my ninjas cross the street living large. Thinking back to the fact that they thought my raps wasn't facts till they sat with the bars. I got 2 phones, one need a charge. Yeah, they twins, I could tear they ass apart. I got big packs coming on the way. I got big stacks coming out the safe. Welcome along to the Guy Harley Podcast. I'm Guy Pigden.
And I'm Harley Neville. Who was that?
It's one of your favourite mumble rappers.
Did he really say ninja?
No.
I didn't think so.
I censored it.
You did?
I censored it out of good taste and
Good
decency, which our show was renowned for.
True. Yeah. So who was that then?
That was Drake, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Money in the grave. This is what that is about. He says, which is basically the chorus is like, when I die, put my money in the grave. Incredibly selfish.
Yeah, could save a lot of children's lives, third world countries.
All the good
Classic.
that money could do. But no, just put it in the grave with you where it's useless. It's got to rot away with you.
Yeah, well,
pathetic.
It's like
Drake.
The pharaohs and all that back in the day.
Jules.
Back in the day. At the
Surely
pyramids.
there must have been like a real grave robbing industry back then.
Well,
like it must have been booming.
You would think so, but then a lot of the graves weren't really plundered until, much later.
Well, it's strange. Like, I guess they buried it. Didn't they?
But a lot of them were.
Didn't they put them in cement and stuff, or what did they do? I feel like it was quite elaborate
To get to what?
to
To
get to
the
the stuff.
tombs.
Yeah.
Yeah. They sealed it away behind big, blocks and so on.
You can't lift big blocks without 50 camels helping you in the first place.
So if an army comes with its camels, then they're sweet. Yeah.
They can do the plundering.
So good.
Thoughts on the pyramids? Alien design, alien construction?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That was
50 camels pulling those rocks up the hill?
No, they did things like, well, they probably did use, well, I don't even know if they had camels, but yeah, anyway, definitely man-made. They did things like they wet the sand and then they dragged the blocks over it, over like in between the wet sand and the blocks was like, wood, tree trunks, rounded, and they rolled along and, they take the last one and then put it in the front again and so on and roll them along, these big blocks, stuff like that.
Yeah, now
I don't know the specifics, obviously.
Okay. In Barcelona, where I went for one of the film festivals, the greatest film festival that you did not attend. I
could have, and I went to LA instead.
Yeah, big mistake.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did have a great time in LA.
Yeah, no, but anyways,
that was the first time. That was when you and me went together, living the dream, the Pigville Boys in Hollywood.
So I went to a bunch of these old cathedrals, and I was sort of, reading the like little info thing at the front of the thing, and they're like, yes, these took 400 years to make or 300 years to make, and I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, so generations of builders would build a bit of it, die, their sons would build a bit of it, die, and then like 4 generations down the road they'd finish it, and I was like, man, I could not think of a more annoying, more irritating life than to build a quarter of a building and know like, oh, that's it. I'm never going to see what it's going to look like. It looks like shit now. It looks like absolute shit. It looks so terrible. And I'm going to die never knowing what it will really ultimately look like. And why? Religion. You've got a poem about it. Look it up.
Well, speaking of Barcelona, you had a great time there at that film festival because you were being hosted by a local party animal of some description.
Lines of cocaine off a
stripper's butt.
Bottom.
Really?
Well, one part of that is true. I'll let you decide which,
whether it was the bottom or the lines of cocaine.
Yeah.
So you were either snorting cocaine or you were rubbing your nose on a woman's bottom. Yeah. But not both. You weren't doing cocaine off a bottom.
Not both.
Cocaine,
one or the other,
or rubbing your nostril along a stripper's butt.
Yeah.
I reckon it was the latter. Personally, I'm picturing the latter.
Well, I'll let the listeners speculate.
Yeah, they can imagine that. Well, so you recently at the film festival that we worked on, you were that guy. That was your job. Your job was to be the guy getting the cocaine and the strippers.
You got
how did you
for us?
How did you do? How did you enjoy that part of the job? Were you as good as the guy over in Barcelona?
No. So if my heart was fully invested in it, like in the party animal culture, like in the sort of, because also in Spain they don't sleep. They got this big thing about not ever sleeping ever,
right?
And then just waking up the next day like they're totally fine. Like they didn't just stay up till 4 a.m. Snorting cocaine off a stripper's bottom.
Yeah.
You know, like that did absolutely nothing, and then they're like the next day, hey, how you doing, man? You good? And it's like, no, I'm not good.
Yeah.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, if I'd fully invested in it, it would have been like, oh, guys, like, sure, it's midnight now, but this ain't where the party's over. Let me take you to some of the great drinking spots around here. Let me talk to you, you can meet my mate Tony, and he's going to hook us up free drinks here at this bar till you want to leave.
Yeah.
But the reality is I don't have a mate Tony.
Well, is that what happened in Spain? Was that what
like all the bars closed and they're like, well, we want to keep drinking. He's like, cool, let me take you to a place I know.
Yeah.
And it was just, we'd just go to another place.
Yeah.
It was pretty bloody amazing.
Yeah.
And also like all the meals were free.
What was the name of I guess you don't want to say the name of the festival because you've already said the cocaine thing, so you don't want to tarnish their good name.
Amazing Horror Festival in Spain.
Was it a good fun, was it?
It was.
All right. Well,
and the food just constantly, and obviously I wasn't in the position to be offering everyone food over here.
No.
But yes, they'll take care of you.
And speaking of festivals, we do have some exciting festival-related news that we haven't spoken about on the show, I don't believe.
Yes, which we can't officially announce.
Oh. Well then, you'll just have to wait until next episode. But we can say that we've gotten into a film festival in Germany, right?
Yeah, we can say that.
Because we're not saying which one it is.
That's satisfyingly vague.
That is satisfyingly vague. So we've gotten into a film festival in Germany with Older, our second feature film. You guys all know about it. But
you all know about how many
6 years of work
and how much money we've spent on trying to get into festivals already and complained about on the podcast.
Yeah,
so you already know the struggle.
Immediately prior to this episode, I transferred Guy $500 for festival submissions.
Which and within that investment of $500, $1,000 if you count us both, the return on that is getting into one festival so far.
Yeah, one
and
festival.
That is not all that you or I have put in either.
No,
that is about I don't know, a third. But optimistically, might be more.
A third of what?
Like a third of the money you've already put into festival submissions for Older.
For Older, right, yeah.
I think pretty optimistic. No, that's probably about right.
If any of the Sifty 150 would like to help us, patreon.com/Pigville, and you can give us $1 a month or whatever, and all that money adds up and it all goes towards stuff like that, festival submissions. You can also go to paypal.com and all you need is the email address pigvilleproductions@gmail.com, and then you can make a one-off transfer if you want. You can specify if it's for our beers. Today we're drinking Stella Artois.
It's kind of weird because also like these festivals, and I've had this sort of conversation with a few festivals that we've been in, but they're like, yep, so, don't say anything just yet because, we haven't announced anything, so keep it under your vest. So, we've already shit the bed a little bit on that one. But then they're also like, and then when we make it official at this certain time, we'll give you your laurels, your festival laurels, your festival wreaths. And it's like, what you're giving me is essentially like a PNG, like little angel wings. Yeah. Right? These are the wreaths, I should say. They're I guess, like kind of the equivalent of like the Olympic ceremony wreath. What are those wreaths? Circular wreaths?
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, they give you this PNG of that, and then it says the festival. And it's like, you do realize that anyone now has the ability to make these for any festival and put them on their poster with zero fucks given, and you guys would never know. It would never come back and bite you.
I reckon the idea is that they want they want to try and get everybody posting about it at the same time.
Yeah.
Rather than having little drips and drabs of you doing it this month and me doing it next month, they want both of us posting at the same time and hyping it up within, and they want us to do it once tickets are available to be sold. So there's probably no point in doing it now because people can't buy tickets until a certain time or whatever. So I reckon that's why they're doing it. They're doing it so that we can get publicity for them when they announce it.
Yeah, well...
which makes sense. I'd do that.
It's just those wreaths that kind of...
Yeah.
Who cares about the wreaths?
Well, they do look nice when you put them at the beginning of your trailer or whatever.
It's true.
Yeah.
So we got one of those to put on now.
Yeah. So that is exciting news. I am looking forward to going to Germany with you, I hope. It could happen. It's in February, I believe. You said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, February. February in Germany, which is snow season, I believe. So we could go over there and do some snowboarding. Apparently it's a snowboard town.
Well, now we're kind of... People, if they really did their research...
Come on. Germany's a big place. Who knows what... And this is like, there's so many little towns in Germany.
You just said little. Another hint. Little town in Germany, very popular for their snowboarding, and a particular festival,
and has a film festival, because that's what would really narrow it down, is what other small towns would have a film festival. There can't be that many.
Yeah.
So,
well,
luckily they're not listening.
Yes, fortunately for us.
Yeah. And so that will be a lot of fun. You and me exploring some old battlefields and stuff.
Yeah, I made a joke about that, and you were like, oh, yes, I made a in poor taste joke. I said, oh
no,
you're gonna head off to one of the do some sightseeing at one of the concentration camps, and you were like, I think actually they have the best concentration camps in Poland. Sorry, mate. That's what you said to me.
As tourist destinations, the best ones are in Poland.
The best concentration camps, as we all know, are in Poland. You fucking amateur.
Well, that's where the more touristy ones are, or the more famous ones are. Say, the more famous, more well-known ones. So we'll have to go there.
Tourist destinations. So yeah, well, we'll have to see. Exactly, or there is an issue of paying for that.
Well, yeah, and also you are going to be recovering from your surgery maybe at that point as well.
Yeah.
So that might not work either. I'll just have to go by myself.
You'll just have to sleep with all the beautiful women.
By myself instead of with you.
And party and do cocaine off a stripper's bottom by yourself.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough gig. Speaking of doing cocaine off strippers' bottoms, I'm going to LA in less than a week for Operation Get Laid in LA. I updated it from Operation Get Laid in Hollywood is officially now Operation Get Laid in LA. Okay. It's more poetic.
You made it broader as well.
Yeah, it allows me to go to other suburbs. And given that I'm going to be spending most of my time in Santa Monica,
You thought you didn't want to limit yourself.
No, exactly. Yeah. So Operation Get Laid in LA, which has nothing to do with sex. That's just the code name. It's just an operational name for strategic, reasons, subterfuge, and so on. Classified. So anyway, the operation itself, the point behind the operation is obviously to sell older at the American film market. And I'm going, all expenses paid, and I should be very excited and really looking forward to it. And I am. There's lots of good things about it.
Yeah.
But and it's something we've been working towards for 6 years, and it's exciting to finally have it getting in front of people that can actually make a difference and actually get it out there.
Yep.
And I do feel like we're going to get some sort of deal out of this. I feel like I'd be very surprised if we leave with no deal at all. I don't think that's going to happen. I reckon we're going to get a deal of some description. It's just a matter of how good it is and how wide the distribution is. So yeah, that's all good stuff. But it's a lot of work, and this sciatic nerve situation where I've injured myself is really slowing me down in many ways. I can't sit at the computer for a long time. I've been sitting in this chair for the duration of this podcast, which is only about 15 minutes so far. But I'm on all the painkillers at the moment. They got me on all the painkillers. There's a big row of painkillers here. I didn't really notice those. Didn't notice those. I've got the codeine phosphate. They say, warning, these are addictive. I've got gabapentin. I've got Norflex. I've got tramadol. I've got Panadine, which has also got codeine in it. I've got a muscle relaxant. One of them's a muscle relaxant as well. So, yeah, I've got all. They got me on all the drugs, and it's taken quite a while to recover, and it's depressing.
Well, it seems to be getting worse.
Well, it is worse from the other day. Like I had to go back to the doctor because I couldn't. My leg was too sore, to get around, and that's why they gave me all these painkillers. But I mean, that was a lot of painkillers. They got like 5 boxes of painkillers.
It's a lot of painkillers, but it's also a what do they say? Treating the symptom, not the cause.
Yeah. Well, they say though that in this case it's like basically time. There's time, so they can either treat the symptoms or not. But time is what's healing it.
But the time you're getting worse.
Yeah. Well, I think that's because potentially I aggravated it or did something to it. Because like I was feeling quite good the day before, and so maybe I got cocky. Maybe I moved too quickly or did something.
Flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, well, maybe I did. Because I remember I kind of jogged a little bit down the hallway at my work.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Skipping your step.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
Yeah.
Don't have those.
Don't have one of those.
Never have a skip in your step.
It's never good news. And so, yeah, so that's maybe why it got worse. So I'm not looking forward to sitting on a plane for 12 hours. That might be an issue. Could be actually quite a serious issue. So I need to decide, should I just bite the bullet and pay the money to choose my seat as an aisle seat, or should I risk it, save the $50 or whatever they're going to charge me, and just arrive early enough on the day of departure that I can go directly to the counter and go, hey, just wondering, I've got a sore sciatic nerve. Can I get an aisle seat, please? And that way I can pinch the girls' bottoms on their way past as well. So
already preparing your Harvey Weinstein-like behavior for before you arrive in LA.
I'm getting into character. I'm a method actor.
Getting into character.
And I'm acting like a producer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen there, but I've booked everything. Everything's good to go.
Well, what's the physio say?
Well, so I just actually went to the physio today. I have gone. I've been sent for an X-ray as well. I did a back X-ray the other day, and I'm waiting to hear back results from that.
Right.
I got all my blood tests back. I'm all good in all my blood tests. My AIDS has gone away. So
AIDS is successfully in remission.
Yep. So yeah, my bloods were all good, but just waiting to see what the X-ray reveals, if anything. And then the physio has just been like. Giving me some stretches and a rub down with his strong manly hands.
With his strong commanding hands.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, I work in a bar on occasion, and this is how I got my injury. On this particular night, I tried to pick up at work. I tried to pick up this big heavy thing using very poor technique. I can't remember her name, but but I absolutely regret it now. Because when doing that, I injured my sciatic nerve.
Classic humor.
And I was bedridden for a couple of days until Guy kicked in the door and firemen carried me to the emergency doctor.
And what's hilarious about these things is like, I don't know, how long you had this for now? A month?
No, since September 7th. So it's like 7 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. So well over a month, almost 2.
It's gotten worse a little bit. My mobility it feels like it's plateaued, to be honest. It kind of feels like it's just never going to get better than it is now, and it's pretty shit now.
And not only that, but I guess it's just what's weird about all of these kind of things is like, even my hip injury, like what was the final straw that really fucked my hip up? Was it wrestling all the time? Well, maybe, but also part of it was I was just goofing around trying to throw these basically these axe kicks to kick people's heads off in the ring, not high impact at all, just throwing a kick up in the air, and then I was like, ugh. Why is it clicking now? That's weird. And then for you, it's like you're just trying to pick up this big, hefty woman.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's weird. Normally when I pick up these women, there's no issue. Yeah. But for some reason...
Normally I can pick them up easily.
This is actually a real struggle.
Yeah.
And it's often like when your health goes awry, it seems like it's not from I was 24/7, I was... cocaine off strippers' bottom, I hadn't had a day off in 5 months, and and it all just came to a head and blah blah blah. It's just like, I just bent over wrong one time, that one fucking time in 36 years.
Yeah.
and so on. So yeah, it's always the little things.
Mm.
Never take your health for granted, people.
Well, it's true, because in most other aspects of my life, I feel like things are pretty good. Like, I'm like, all right, cool. I've got a pretty cool work life. I'm doing interesting, exciting things. Going to LA next week. I'm still making movies with my bestie. You know, everything's good. But it's hard to enjoy any of it when you don't have your health.
It's true.
When you're not feeling healthy, it's hard to enjoy any of it. So if your fat ass is listening to this on the couch, I want you to get up and do some stretches, okay? Do some stretches. Go for a walk, for crying out loud. Enjoy it.
Live life.
Live life. It's for living. Now, as you know, Guy, the first 50 followers of the Guy Harley Podcast were known as the Filthy 50.
Yes.
Shout out to the Filthy 50. Then, over time, they grew to the Hardy Hundy. Shout out to the Hardy Hundy. Then, after a very, very long plateau, we graduated to the Sifty 150. Shout out to the Sifty 150. Now, it makes sense, given how hard we work and the sheer brilliance of this show, that eventually we would grow again, you know, to the Turdy 200. Or the 2 century from the penitentiary. Or we might need to work on the name a little bit. But anyway, I've crunched the numbers a little.
Yep.
And for the last 10 episodes, I'm proud to announce that it's no longer the Sifty 150. It's the Sexy 160.
Yeah, boy.
That's right. We're averaging 160 downloads over the last 10 episodes. You know what they say? Slow but steady progress is better than no progress at all. And I don't think a single member of the Sifty 150 would dare to try to counter such a broad and useless statement. So
thank you to the new 10 listeners. We appreciate that.
We can probably name them. Mrs. Wazza's got to be one. Now we've got to name 9 more, because she's only started recently.
I think the crazy thing about this podcast for me is that, like, quite a few of our good friends do listen to it. And so when I see them, I haven't caught up with them for half a year.
You're like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in 5 years.
Because I, work all the time and I have no life and I do absolutely nothing. And, my life is a
flat
circle of work.
Yeah. Life is a flat circle. Work is a flat circle.
Work is flat circle.
Work is a flat circle.
So that's what I'm doing.
That might be the name of the episode.
And so, and then I go, oh, hey, man. And they're like, cool, how you been? I'm like, good. We're just doing this, doing that, doing this. And he's like, or she is like, yeah, I know. I was on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, I have nothing to tell you then.
Yeah.
There is no interesting thing that I could possibly communicate to you right now. But also, like, you also think about it, like, some of these people are, like, they're your friends. They're not your good friends, right? But you've been very intimate on the podcast.
Yeah, so they know all about all of the embarrassing
your sick
things.
Masturbating habits.
Yes.
They're really familiar with that. And you're kind of like, well, damn, I didn't think this through. And so I sometimes, caught up with Chris and Sam from the Chris and Sam podcast.
Shout out to the Chris and Sam podcast. Go check those guys out, the Chris and Sam podcast. Which one did you catch up with?
Both.
Right. Well, Sam listens to the show. Chris doesn't, apparently. But Sam does, so shout out to Sam.
Shout out to Sam. Not a shout out to Chris.
No.
But he has been getting me some freelance filmmaking work recently, so shout back out to Chris.
Oh, okay. Shout out, Chris!
So yes, my close personal friend Alex Savage was wrestling at Armageddon.
Yep.
He was wrestling with the Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah.
I'm the Honky Tonk Man. I'm cool. I'm bad. I'm something. I'm the whatever it goes.
Yeah.
And so, me and Honky hung out. He begrudgingly took a photo with my close personal friend, but I will trumpet that like they're best mates.
Has that been posted yet?
Nah,
I didn't think I'd seen it.
I sent it to, like, as a humble brag. I sent it to some of my my wrestling friends. So I have a couple of friends in Dunedin who are like hardcore 1980s wrestling fans.
Yeah.
And so they absolutely shit their pants when they saw this photo.
So like Jason and Mark.
It was Jason and Mark.
Who don't called it. Who
don't listen to the podcast.
But they would have liked that. They would have liked that I would have been able to have picked the exact two people you're thinking of.
And they were just like, bro, you did that with Honky. Whoa, it's amazing. So yeah, but I haven't put it online specifically because it's kind of like in the wrestling world that might be frowned upon a little bit.
Why? To what? To
ooh, friend.
What?
do you know what that's from?
No.
You should really watch the Inbetweeners.
Oh yeah.
Friend. Just that, like, you're trying too hard, basically.
Right.
Like, check out me with this WWE Hall of Fame legend.
Yeah.
We're just hanging out.
Yeah.
You know, he's our manager. No big deal.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, but I think you can't really. That sounds silly.
There's too many haters in this world, man.
Exactly. Fuck them. Fuck the haters. We need new haters because the old ones started loving us. So fuck them.
I feel like that's from like a song.
Probably could be from a rap song.
Yeah.
But well, they probably heard the Guy Harley podcast and heard me say that years ago, and then put it in their rap song. But no, so I say fuck him, man. Who gives a shit? A couple of people will be like, Guy posted that picture with the Honky Tonk Man, and everyone else will be like, holy shit,
it's the Honky Tonk Man.
It's the Honky Tonk Man. And it'll be good for your career. There's no way it can possibly be bad. I would post it if I was you.
Well,
and what else are you going to do with it? Well, everyone posts pictures.
Masturbate to it in private.
Well, like you can still do that.
You
can still do that.
Like any self-respecting member of society would.
Right. Well, no. You can still do that.
But masturbate to it in public as well.
Yeah.
Through the avenue of social media.
Yeah. Well, that's what you should do.
Taking tips from the master. The maestro here.
Who? The social media maestro?
The social media masturbating maestro.
Well, I haven't...
masturbating your product all over the interwebs.
Yeah. I
with your interwebs.
I haven't been very proactive.
You haven't been active recently.
No, well, I mean, I post things.
You did post a funny one about the Manscaping Company that's stealing your likeness and image.
Yeah. So there's a company in Colombia that's using the half hairy image of me where I've shaved half of my incredibly hairy body but not the other half. Famous viral image. This is the thing that I'm the most amount of eyeballs that have been on me are a result of this picture. So if you haven't seen it, go out and find it. I'll post it on the Guy and Harley podcast page, facebook.com/Guy and Harley. But let's assume that you guys have all seen it and know which one I'm talking about. It's so somebody in Colombia has printed it out and used it outside their waxing salon, and it's got a big picture of me, half hairy, and encouraging people to go inside for some delipilation. What's the word?
Yeah, something like that.
Delipilation or whatever. And so what I was thinking is this time I've got the address. This is the second time that image has popped up on the internet and found its way to me. But this time the photo was taken by somebody I actually have met in real life, and this person told me the street and the address, the suburb and all that of where it is in Bogota. And so my plan is to go over there at some point when I find the opportunity, go to Bogota, find them, go in there, demand a free half waxing, and then get a new photo outside next to the old photo where I'm half waxed, an updated half hairy photo.
Well,
I reckon that'll take off. I reckon people will like that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it's one of those things, like the internet is a weird place.
It's a weird place.
Like this image of you has been monetized
by other people.
Many other people.
Yeah.
Right? And none of that money
goes to me.
Goes to you.
No.
Right? Which is 100% illegal.
Yeah.
Okay? However, how do you even enforce that? Like, do you get a lawyer, an international lawyer, to give them a cease and desist?
Whoops. No.
And then even escalating from there, then that lawyer goes, you owe my client a certain amount of money, and then you go to court to try and prove that they made money off your image. Like, it seems very difficult.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that in the case of a salon like that, I don't think it would matter too much. It will be too difficult. You could go and barge in the door and go take this fucking thing down. But in the case of dropshippers online, they're only like semi-legal entities anyway, which is where dropshipping is where you create an ad or just steal somebody else's ad from the internet, and then you pay for that ad to be promoted on Facebook or wherever, and in the link in the description you link to the product which you're selling in that ad, but the link goes directly to the manufacturer in the factory, and you just get a cut. So you just get a cut of that, whatever percentage that you've figured out with the factory, and then so basically you never touch the product at all. You're just connecting customers via an ad that you already stole, which has like my image on it, for example. For example, a back shaver or a waxing service would use my image and in the description they have a link to this place where you can buy this back shaving tool or whatever it is, and then they get a commission from every unit sold. And
yeah,
it's a great thing if you can set it up, and then the only investment is your Facebook ads. That's where the investment comes from, is that you've got to pay a certain amount for the Facebook ads and hope that you recoup enough.
But say the lawyer shuts down one of these places.
Yeah.
How do you prove, how do you claim damages or expenses? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think you can really. I mean, how can I prove it? I think the only way the best thing to do, right, would be to go to like Getty or like one of these like online sites that licenses photos, like a stock site, and put the half-hairy image on a stock photo so that people can then download it and pay for it. So they go, hey, have you seen that image of that half-hairy guy? It'll be perfect for this. And they can go to, whatever, stockphoto.com, and in there they can see, and they can go, oh, there it is. It's right there. Oh, okay, well, I'm willing to pay $4 for that, or $2 for that, or, whatever it is, and I get some money from that. And then if people are using it illegally, then I can maybe sick the company onto them somehow. Like you can go, well, hang on a minute, this image is owned by, Getty or whatever. And then they might go around and take it down from other places because they're getting a cut as well, or something like that. So they take it down from other places, and everybody has to go to them to buy it. Something like that.
We're living in a new age. But it once upon a time that would have been
I should have put
in a magazine or a newspaper or something, and I don't know, you would have gone after it. I feel like it would have been way easier to
yeah,
and no one would do it. Everyone would be way more reluctant to do it. Now it's a lawless time.
It is. Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy that was dropshipping and using the people that were using my image in their dropshipping thing just blocked me when I was on Facebook. I just tagged myself in it and was like, hey guys, I'm the guy in this image, come follow me, my Facebook game is tight. And then they blocked me, so I can block me, and I wasn't even trying to take them down. I wasn't even going to do anything really until they blocked me. Then I was thinking, well, fuck, I should do something to these guys, because I did get a screen grab of it.
And what did you do?
Well, eventually I was like, oh, who gives a shit? I mean, can't be fucked. I don't give a fuck.
Now, speaking of, I mean,
it's just too much work.
Yeah.
If there's any entertainment lawyers out there listening, I want you to go and find out what I should do, and then I want you to represent me,
For
and
free?
I want you to I'll give you a commission.
Okay.
And so you get a cut of whatever we take in earnings from that image. Once you go out there and tidy up the internet a little and get it set up somewhere, where people can pay for it. And then you just get a cut, or up to a certain amount, up to a cap of whatever your fee is.
Yes. Well, back to the Honky Tonk Man for a second.
Oh, good, yeah.
So I was watching a couple of clips of the Honky Tonk Man prior to this. And, it's 30 years ago, it's the 1980s, wrestling heyday, another boom period in wrestling. And he's wrestling in front of, quite literally, 60,000 people. 60,000. Not 6,000. 60.
Yeah.
And they're going crazy, and everyone wants him to lose, and it's all this amazing thing. And then he comes out in Armageddon in front of 100 to 150 people. How does that make you feel?
Well, I assume he's accepted it long ago, that his heyday is gone, and now he's just enjoying traveling the world as part of Armageddon. And sure, he has to stand up in front of 150 wrestle nerds, and he does. And then he goes and does that, and then he enjoys, the sights and sounds of New Zealand, and just gets paid to be involved. Sounds like a pretty sweet gig to me.
Sounds like a sweet gig, but it's like when you've been to those giddy heights.
Yeah, but if it was so long ago and now you're literally 60, I don't imagine you're still like, oh man, why don't people love me like they did when I was in my prime? I think by that stage you've kind of accepted it.
You may have accepted it, but if you've had that
people
taste,
don't love me like they did in my prime.
If you've had
Back in my prime.
If you've had that, well, there you go. If you've had that taste of success, of people loving you, and then his love for you is diminished from 60,000 to 60 people. I mean, that's what percentage is that of a drop off?
Down to 60.
Yeah,
I don't
60,000 to 60.
Well,
what is that?
6,000 would be 10%. So 600 must be 1%, right? So 60 must be like 0.1%.
So your equity has diminished.
I don't know. Some mathematician out there will be yelling at me right now.
Yeah, to 0.10%, 0.1,
I think 0.1%. If it was 60,000 to 60, I reckon it must be 0.1%.
Yeah, I just feel like there's drop offs and there's drop offs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to be like, hey, cool, yeah, there's 500 people here, like that's all good. But when it's 60,000 to 60, that's gotta. I don't know if you ever get over that. Because I also, you're chasing the dragon, right? So once you've had that 60,000 people.
Once you've been red dragoned.
Once you've been red dragoned and you stand in front of the people afterwards and bask in that adoration. Yeah. You know, and that appreciation. Now, yes, you're getting 60 people's adoration and appreciation, but who cares? You got 60,000. I just think that's very interesting. You know, because what's great about our career is we've never been successful to really we can, I guess I was going to say, we can't really go downhill. Actually, we can go downhill. That's a lie. We could definitely go downhill, but I feel like we can only go up from here.
There's only up from rock bottom.
Exactly. So I feel like it's not that same feeling of like, oh, well, this sucks because 60,000 people love this thing. It's more like,
let's cut the shit though.
Any hole's a goal.
Our giddy height was I survived the zombie Holocaust. Yeah. That was the giddy heights.
Yes.
That was it. That one day of like kind of crappy media interviews that we did. That was our moment. That day we did our television tour. We started in Good Morning in the morning, and I didn't get a fucking word in edgeways. And I used to work on that show, and I always dreamed of being on the other side of the camera.
Didn't you want to give a shout out or something to your mum or something?
I wanted to make some jokes about. I had some jokes planned about like how I used to work on Good Morning. You know, I thought that would come up. You know, because here I used to work on Good Morning, right? And then as a graphics operator. Then 10 years later, I'm back, and I'm finally on the other side of the camera being interviewed about one of my projects, which is something I had always fantasized about when I sat, I sat there at fucking 5 a.m. prepping graphics, you know, for the show, which was starting at 9 a.m. and going until 12 p.m. 3-hour show, heaps of work, starting early, I used to sit there, and I'm not a morning person, but especially not back then. And so, like, I used to just miserable up the back prepping these graphics, all angry and frustrated. And I used to fantasize one day I'll be at the front there in front of the camera, and those presenters will be interviewing me. And then it finally happened, and I'm sitting next to Mike Edward, Mike the Body Edward, who's incredibly, he's much more famous than me,
really ridiculously good looking, and in amazing shape, a true athlete. And of course, all the questions were directed at him. Everyone was talking about him. Everyone was talking about he had just been on Shortland Street for a while as well, for like a year, and a big controversial storyline. Yeah. And so everyone was talking about him and Shortland Street and all this other shit. And then you and me were sitting there like a couple of dickheads when really the whole story was meant to really be about I survived the zombie Holocaust, but we're talking about Mike Edwards' abs instead. Yeah. And then I got in. I got in like one sentence. Real stupid. Yeah, I got in one sentence. I don't even really remember what it was now, but it was like they asked me one question and I gave a shit answer, and then they moved on. But I had away from you.
Yeah, away from me. Yeah,
away from your shitness.
And
your vacuum of charisma that was bringing the interview down. Quickly change tack back to Mike Edwards' abs.
A vacuum of charisma. Yeah, that might be the name too. And so I did have this, I prepped a couple of jokes and stuff, thinking like, because they'll ask me, like, they'll go, oh, Harley, because it was the same producer of the show, and they'll be like, oh, Harley, you'll be like, you actually used to work on the show, and now you're on this side of the camera, some sort of chat about that, right? But nothing. I had some things planned, I had some jokes to make about like some TV jokes, broadcasting jokes, nothing. Didn't get to do any of it. And then we went and did about a
Brilliant.
bunch of other interviews, which cost us $7,000. And a lot of them were kind of like could have been done for free anyway. Like Radio 1. There's the student radio station in Auckland. Oh, is that what it's called? Radio 1? I think that's right.
No.
Is that the Dunedin one?
It was called George. We're on George.
No, we might have been on that too. But we were on Radio 1 as well at the university.
Yeah, we were definitely on Radio 1 as well.
Yeah.
But that I feel like that one was actually organised through you.
Right.
But George was one of the ones. That's the fucked up thing. So we've spent this, we had this P&A production and advertising spend of like $7,000. Or actually could have been way more than that. But I remember looking at the thing of like $10,000 or something billed to our publicist, right? And essentially the publicist got us on these shows.
Yeah.
These radio shows, like.
And TV.
And TV. I feel like you got us on Good Morning.
No, so I was getting us on Good Morning, and then we got this guy anyway.
Right.
And he was planning on Good Morning as well. So it was through him that it happened. But I had emailed the producer and been talking to her about it and stuff. But ultimately it was through him.
But yeah, so essentially this $10,000 or $7,000 or whatever it was equated to these radio interviews, which probably created an additional 0.1% of awareness for the film. You know, like it was good. If anything, it was better because we were just sharing it on Facebook. Like in the sense, the Facebook awareness would have been more awareness.
Because we get to share the article or share the news story or whatever it was.
Would have been more actual awareness than the actual radio program that we're on.
We did get on the news on One News.
Yeah.
But that might have been for the premiere. I'm not sure. I just remember us being on One News for something.
I feel like was it online?
No, we were on legit One
News.
The actual news. Yeah, Hillary was there.
Hillary was there.
Yeah.
And you were there.
Yeah.
And I was there. It all seems like a dream.
Well, we didn't go on the news personally. They did a story about the movie. Must have been a quiet news day.
Oh, very quiet.
Yeah. Although it can't be any more quiet than the day they ran a big story about me fighting with a con man in the supermarket after they sold me a fraudulent phone.
May have got more awareness than the zombie film entirely and the 10 grand we spent.
Yeah.
Just you having a fight with that 50-year-old man.
With a 50-year-old con man.
Beating the shit
out of a 50-year-old
a week.
He was a burly, solid guy. He was a solid 50-year-old, and he hit me first.
It's true he did hit you first. Like I mean, sure.
I mean, if he wants to he sees me and he thinks he can take me on. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to punch you repeatedly in the face, old man. And I did.
Yeah, like you can't
But I looked way worse than him at the end of the fight. My shirt was all ripped open, and my lip, I had like some scratches, and like, you know.
Whereas he looked,
he looked totally
like $1 million.
He looked totally fine, and I punched him in the face like 5 times. I uppercutted it. I grabbed the back of his head and I uppercutted him in the face like 5 times, screaming, "You fucked now, cunt! You fucked now!" And I don't know why. That was just all I was saying, because he kept on pushing me, and I was like, "Don't fucking push me! Don't push me, man! Don't push me, man! Don't push!" And then he whacked me, and then I was like, "That's it!" I was like, "You're fucked now!" Yeah, and I smashed him repeatedly in the face.
Yeah.
And then I called the cops, and they took him away.
Little to no effect. Punched him repeatedly to little to no effect until you called the police.
Yeah. You find the news story is actually on the Pigville YouTube channel. If you search Pigville 2, Pigville and the number 2, one word, Pigville 2, you can see our YouTube channel there. And on there somewhere is, it's called something like Auckland Con Man Confronted or something like that. So if you search like Pigville Con Man, I reckon you'll find it, something like that. And you can watch the news story. It's quite a funny story.
It is a funny story. I mean, look, I think that's the weird thing though, is that like all that money equated to jack fucking shit, except for the publicist who made all that money.
Who made a lot of money. And all he did was connect us to people that I was half connected to anyway. And then like escort us around that day from meeting to meeting. And he had some cupcakes which he gave to each one. But let's cut the shit. And they were I Survived a Zombie Holocaust cupcakes. But let's cut the shit. It looks like it's good for us because it's I Survived a Zombie Holocaust cupcakes. And it is good. It's a bit of branding and stuff like that. And the people at the office of this radio place or whatever can eat them all, and that's cool. But really, those cupcakes are nothing to do with us. Those cupcakes are to do with him cementing relationships with them. So, he comes around, and every time he comes around, he's got a bottle of wine or some cupcakes or whatever. And so he's this publicist that they all love and know, and always never shows up empty-handed. And so who gives a shit what name is written on the cupcakes? Nobody gives a fuck. They're not about us.
Absolute scam.
It's not a scam. I mean, it is a real job. And if you don't have those connections, we wouldn't have been able to get onto a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I guess I mean
in our case, though,
but the idea is
I should be charging 10 grand.
If you spend 10 grand, then it should generate 30 grand of revenue for your film. And
I think that's a bit of a dream, though.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point. Otherwise, films are not financially viable, and marketing films are not. So if you sort of go, or even okay, you at least made money on that. If we take away, you didn't make twice as much, you didn't make 2/3 as much, you literally just turned a profit of an extra 5 grand in your pocket. That 100% was not the case.
Yeah.
Through what he did, making it a bit of a scam.
Well, we don't really know, though. Maybe it did. Maybe there was an extra 5 grand worth of sales.
That's the publicist's problem, though, isn't it?
We don't know.
Because it's
unmeasurable.
You don't know. It's immeasurable what I do.
Yeah.
But I can measure it by this $10,000 I'm charging you.
Yeah. And we rode with him in his swanky convertible car. It was a fancy little car. He took us somewhere, I remember.
It was.
And he's only a young guy, living the dream.
Yeah, it was weird, but it's also how films need to be for a film like ours, that didn't make sense. For a film where Cliff Curtis is the star, and he's doing that with Cliff Curtis, I think it absolutely makes sense. Yeah. Because people actually are interested in what Cliff Curtis is doing, and will then sort of through maybe here and there, but also the radio, cool, the fucking radio. What is this? 1955?
What is this, 1994?
Do we all gather around the radio and go, hey, I heard about this cool thing on the radio? You don't hear about anything cool on the radio.
Oh, gee, that's swell, mister.
Guys, our favorite radio program is on. Let's all sit down and listen, cup an ear to the radio, and fucking guess what, guys? The zombie film. The zombie film's coming. Let's pass it along. Run down to the cinema and pay 50 cents to get in there, because this will be our only chance. Thank God for this radio show. That's so silly.
It is. But we should have just spent $10,000 on Facebook ads.
Oh, and YouTube. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Facebook 100%. Ads, YouTube pre-roll, Facebook ads.
Yeah.
10 grand worth would surely, at minimum, lead to a shitload of views, which you can hold and retain as evidence. You can go, look, we got 1 million views. Okay, great.
And that's the thing about that Facebook targeting is whether or not it's kind of bullshit, there's at least some mathematical statistics that they can point to, and you can look at and go, 30 people or 100 people or 1,000 people saw this ad. Maybe they saw it for only a few seconds, but at least know that much, or they scrolled past it on their page or whatever. You have been able to tell me that, and I don't believe Facebook would lie to us.
Facebook would never lie to us.
Zuckerberg wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do it.
Zucker wouldn't do that to the homie. So, yeah.
I trust Mark Zuckerberg with literally my life.
Yeah.
Or every piece of information about my life. It's all there on Facebook for Zuck.
For the Zuckmeister. Sweet, bro. What else going on?
Well, so the other day, so directly next door to my flat, with their door directly next to my door, about 2 feet from my door, is now I didn't know this when I moved in, but it's a halfway house for people in a community recovery program. I don't know if halfway house is the right description, but it's a house where people who are in rehab can go to and kind of try to get their lives sorted. Yeah. And I met this guy, who's just so somebody. There was a guy there when I first moved in, and he left. I never saw him. And then it was empty for a little while, and then now suddenly there's someone new in there. And so I met this guy, and he does look like the type of guy you wouldn't want to get into a fight with.
You wouldn't want to punch repeatedly in the head, yelling, "You fucked
Now,
now,
cunt! You fucked now!" Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't want to try that with him.
I wouldn't have a go at that with him. I feel like it'd end badly for me.
He's not 50.
He's not 50. He's not a middle-aged 50-year-old con man.
He's not a schlubby middle-aged. He's not a
beating him. His wife was there as well.
Slightly built 50-year-old middle-aged con man with his wife
beating him up in front of his wife
in the car, waiting for him to pull his latest deal.
So I said hello to the guy, and all was well, right? And this is the day he moved in. And then a few hours later, I start hearing him swearing his head off. Like every second word is fucking fuck this and fuck that and all that. And he's yelling at the woman that helped him move in. Who's possibly a social worker. I think she is a social worker, right? And he's upset because the power isn't on at his new place, and he doesn't have any of his clothes, which are at his mum's place, and he calls the social worker a bitch and says, "I'm thinking about hitting one of you guys." Then he's screaming, he goes, "I've got mental health, I've got post-traumatic stress disorder, I'm depressed, and you're stressing me out." Screaming, and we live in this like it's like a wee community. There's like a bunch of sort of little flats all next to each other, sort of thing.
It's a gated community.
It is. I live in a gated community. It's not gated at all. Then she was like, "Okay, I'm going to leave now," and she left, right? But even after she had left, he was still sporadically yelling things like, "I didn't even want to come here," and "There's no power. What am I supposed to do? Sit around and stare at the fucking sun?"
It's a funny line.
And then he goes, "I can't even make a fucking cup of coffee."
Well, it's true, he can't.
Which, to be fair, all sounds very frustrating. Like, you know, that sounds like the type of shit that would really fuck you off, right?
Yeah.
You know, that would really fuck you off. You've just moved a house. Moving a house is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Right? But, it's all very frustrating. It is. But you can't fly off the handle. You've got to have the sapience to see that you're moving into a small community and everybody can hear you, and the impression that you make now is going to make your life easier or more difficult tomorrow and the next day and the next day and next week, you know? So basically, I'd be fucked off too, but you got to be more discreet. And so afterwards, and this is kind of an example of that in play, is that afterwards I was like, well, maybe I should show up with a cup of coffee for the fucking guy, hey mate, look, sorry to hear you having a bad day, welcome to the neighborhood, but here's a cup of coffee. Little actions like that can make all the difference in a person's life.
That's true, they can.
Yeah, but my South Dunedin street sense was tingling, so I decided to let that one lie. Actually, my South Dunedin street sense was screaming, "Don't talk to that fucking psycho," because the best case scenario is he sees me as someone that can help him, in times of need.
What? You don't want to be that person?
You don't want to be that person.
You don't want to provide...
I've got my own shit to worry about.
Yeah. Also, I guess the other thing about that whole power thing is I think you can call and you can get your power turned on by making one phone call.
Really?
Yeah, and I think it can be pretty quick. And I just wonder why that social worker wasn't like, "Cool, well, just give me 1 second before you flip your fucking wig. Let me just make a quick couple of calls." Because this is not something that you necessarily know. If you've got mental disorder and you've got PTSD and all this shit, you don't know about power fucking companies. So
maybe.
It's possible that you don't feel like you're equipped with the tools also. Does he even have a phone that fucking works?
Oh, I don't know, presumably.
But if I was that social worker, I would have been like, well, let me call the power company. Just give me a second.
I don't think it's as easy as you think it is. You can't just call them up.
Well, I've just been doing it.
Because, I've been in places before. Maybe I'm thinking of the internet. The internet takes a while to set
The
up.
internet is a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
A son of a bitch.
Well,
but
anyway,
I'm proud to announce that I do finally have fiber once more.
Oh, that's good.
My
Because you're in your new place.
I'm in my new place, and my porn is streaming at full capacity, baby. Downloading and uploading at just under 100 MIPS. So very happy about that.
Yeah, that will be good news for your live streaming of pornography and so forth. Well, just finishing up the neighbour thing, I was lying there, I'm a Kingsland hipster, and I was lying there on my yoga mat listening to all this yelling going on.
Yahooing.
And I thought to myself, for fuck's sake, can't I just have one normal day? You know, all this non-stop adventuring is fucking exhausting. That's what I was thinking. So, now, in all seriousness, regarding community, places, I grew up on the mean streets of South Dunedin, and I actually grew up in programs and facilities similar to the one next door. So I think it's great that there are safety nets like that can make the difference in a struggling person's life. It's literally the difference between having a roof over their head and giving them a chance at getting their lives back in order, or sleeping on the streets and struggling just to survive. So as a steadfast, liberal lefty, I stand resolute in my support of social programs such as this. But not in my backyard. Seems to be right there.
Right next door. I mean, don't they have a place where they can put all these people?
Stewart Island or something.
Don't they have like a sort of a place where they can just put them all away so we, the privileged, don't have to worry or think or be reminded of them?
Yeah.
And they all just wallow in their own despair and misery, and we're not privy to it, so we don't have to feel bad.
We don't have to feel bad about it.
Or feel intimidated by these rants they go on.
It's just like in The Beach, where there's that guy who's been bitten by a shark and he's in a lot of pain, and then eventually Leonardo DiCaprio goes in and he's been moaning for days and disrupting the other people at the camp who just kind of want to have a good time, and at first they are really sympathetic, but after a while they're like, hurry up and die. And then he goes he goes in and he smothers this guy who's been wounded and just finishes him off. Yeah. So that so you wouldn't have to see it.
What you're suggesting we do to these...
Well, no, I'm saying we send them all to Stewart Island.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a community, I don't know, a giant facility it's difficult to get in and out of, so they can't bother anyone. And, they'll have, doctors and stuff there and wards and what have you. And, they can have, therapies. I hear that there's this kind of electroshock type of thing that they do, that after you've had it, you're very calm and chilled out. And maybe this guy needs some of these types of therapies. And then if it's even more extreme, just give a little tap through the eye, and it just you don't feel a thing. But after that, you just feel mellow for the rest of your life. And I'm just wondering if there could be a place like this that exists where these people can go. And I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but, it just seems to make a lot of sense.
Do they do lobotomies through the eye, do they?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Or just, they do it, I think they do it through the temple, actually. But it's through the temple, through down past the eye, I think. I do think
horrible.
I think there is one actually that's kind of through the it is through this. Well, you can't see, people can't see it unless you're live streaming, but I'm pretty sure it's through this bit here.
Yeah, the tear duct area.
Yeah. So that's probably what I'm thinking of. But anyway, if these types of people that Harley has to deal with, if we could just put them in these type of, and I don't know what you'd call them, mental houses, mental hospitals.
All right. There's an analogy here between old lunatic asylums. Right.
Oh, if that's what you want to call them, Harley, I'm just saying. I just feel like we've got a solution right here.
Well, look. Welcome to the neighborhood. Neighbor, if you're listening. I don't think he listens to the show.
Because he doesn't have any internet, the poor bastard.
Well, he might not.
Poor bugger.
That's the thing. In the olden days, you would show up with a cup of coffee, though, wouldn't you? Right?
Yeah.
Welcome to the neighborhood. But I don't know if that's true. I mean, if the olden days somebody was screaming and yahooing like a fucking lunatic and calling people bitches and threatening to punch people, would you still show up with a cup of coffee in the old days? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe the old time, politeness has to go both ways, So if you show up swearing and threatening into a new community, a small, very small community where we can all hear, you're probably not going to get offered a coffee, even in the old days.
Yeah. Someone actually tweeted something that I retweeted. So we're going to actually open up our...
oh, no.
We're going to open up...
for the love of Christ.
We're going to open up...
Don't bring this fucking
old
back.
Section,
oh, no.
Section. We're going to open up... retweet it.
God, I mean, I feel like it's gotten the introduction. I know it's a recording and that we just play it in every time.
Yeah.
We just play that recording in every time of that intro, but I feel like it's gotten more obnoxious.
Yeah. Well, it might have. It might have. But I just want to read this one. This is from director Joseph Kahn. This one hit me. This one hit me in big time. When I was a poor young guy, I didn't have the internet. Young people today have free reading, free watching, free listening, free written correspondence, free calls, free infinite porn. Your phone makes videos. Compared to me in 1990, you're living like billionaires. You ain't fucking wrong.
True that. I'm with you on that one.
You ain't fucking wrong.
And what, you retweeted that?
I retweeted that.
And then nobody retweeted it from you?
I mean, it's got quite a few likes.
Right.
But,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if anyone liked mine.
If anyone is on Twitter, they just got to go find...
Well, this one is Alex Savage Wrestler. Speaking of the internet, I can only reach my close personal friends account, but I can't reach my own because I've forgotten the password.
For your Twitter?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Classic first world problem.
Yeah.
So I can log in through my old phone.
Yeah.
Because it automatically signs me in.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, then you have to use that phone to change password, right?
Yeah. Then I have to start up my old phone. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting because
they might still ask you for your old password, but
I remember like passionately, getting into a subject or a hobby and going to the library and finding a few books on it and reading like 1% of the information that I might garner from the internet in an afternoon in that research expedition.
Even if you had the internet, like when I went to most of my life, the internet, I didn't really experience the internet till I was 16. 16, I think.
Fortunately, I experienced it a little prior to that.
Yeah.
I'll hang you.
Yeah. Well, you rich kids
waiting for that dial-up.
With your dial-up.
Waiting for that dial-up to kick in.
It still makes you horny.
Boom, boom. Thank you.
Yeah.
Full page load on that one.
Yeah.
The worst was like a page load and then it's like, oh, it's a crap picture.
Yeah, after all of that. Yeah. I can't get off to this. This is useless to me.
This is a joke. So, yeah, but I just do think that is kind of interesting what we take for granted.
She's
now.
alive.
What we take for granted.
Yeah, well, we do take a lot for granted. So is that the end of the Twitter?
Yeah, that's it. I also have this thought sometimes is like, why am I employed as a teacher? And the answer is laziness of other people.
Yeah.
So it's not, because that's the thing is like you can go out and learn every single thing that I could teach you from like, several weeks of in-depth YouTubing, right? But you're fucking lazy. And you can't be fucked. You can't be fucked clicking on things that maybe are sort of on topic, but not quite.
Yeah.
And you can't be fucked with like going through a tutorial and pausing it a few times to try and catch back up. So rather than all of that, you go to fucking Polytech, where I look at YouTube, I look at YouTube for you, and then tell you what YouTube says.
But you also reward them with some sort of certificate at the end.
That's true, but I mean, it's hilarious to me that like a lot of my teaching is me playing YouTube clips for people of like, so we've talked about it, and here's an example off YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got quite a funny email the other day that I thought about not reading on the show because this email came from one of my employers. And some of my colleagues work, some of the listeners are my colleagues, right? So I've got to be careful here.
Yeah.
And I make a real point of separating the podcast from all of my employment. That's why we refer to the festival as the festival, not the name of the festival, because I don't want to tarnish the good brand of any of my employers, and I don't want to not be able to say whatever the fuck I want on this show. Now, here's this email that I got from an employer recently. goes like this. There are some emails you don't see yourself sending. This is one of them. Now, I can tell you, you're laughing, Guy, but I think that I should probably specify that this email wasn't sent directly to me.
Okay.
This is a group email.
Okay.
Okay. So there are some emails you don't see yourself sending. This is one of them. The shower downstairs is just that. A shower. It's not a urinal. It's been brought to my attention that somebody has been using the shower stall as a urinal. If it is one of our people, can we please make sure this doesn't happen again? Now, I'd like to point out that when this email was sent out, I actually hadn't worked for that employer for about 3 weeks, so I was busy working on the festival at the time. So despite my penchant for being pissed on by prostitutes, I'm actually not a suspect in this particular case. Yeah. Now, do you want to know what's funny about this, though, is that I know exactly who the shower pisser is.
It's George Costanza.
It is George Costanza. But I know.
There are pipes.
There's pipes.
Both pipes,
They
Jerry.
go to the same place,
No,
Jerry.
They're different pipes. They're the same pipes.
But, okay,
The pipes, they go to the same...
the situation here is not that someone's pissing while they're taking a shower.
No, the issue is that they're
They're
pissing
walking
in, the
in
shower
there and just
not
pissing in it.
They're not taking the shower.
Yeah. Now,
Well, let's just... Can I just interject?
yeah.
Where are you at on shower pissing?
Oh, I'm cool with it.
When was the last time you pissed in a shower? Not this one, obviously, in a work environment.
No, well, I don't shower at work. I mean, I don't remember specifically, but it's not also the type of thing I take note of. I mean, generally speaking, when I get up in the morning, I'll take a piss in the toilet, and when I get in the shower, I don't need a piss. But if I needed a piss while I was in the shower, I can assure you I would have absolutely no issue with pissing all over my feet and watching it all go down the drain. You know, so... it's just lucky that none of the Sifty 150 want to sleep with me anyway, because they definitely wouldn't have to listen to this show, even once.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a little whiz in the shower.
I'm cool with it. So
I was very against it because of the Seinfeld episode for years.
right.
But then, in my old age, I've mellowed.
So you got old and you started pissing in the shower. Great, good. The listeners needed to know this about us. I'm glad you asked.
I'm just saying my stance is mellowed to it.
Good. Well, I mean, I draw the line at shitting in the shower. I tried that a couple of times, and I smushed it down the plug hole with my toes, waffle stomped it down the plug holes with my toes, and I've decided that it's too far. So no more shitting in the shower for the Nevs.
I've never done that.
I've never done it either.
Oh well.
Come on. Anyway, for this shower pisser,
Yeah.
I don't have any evidence.
Right.
But I have a hot favorite in a field of outsiders, and I just want the listeners to know that if you approach me, I'm not going to tell you who it is. Okay? Because I can't be seen to be spreading malicious rumors. I'm going to keep things ambiguous. But at some point in the past, long before this email was sent out, I noticed an individual from my work nipping in and out of the shower for like 60, 70 seconds at a time. And at the time, I wondered what the fuck this person could possibly be doing in the shower at such short intervals. And so I came to the obvious conclusion. This grimy motherfucker is pissing in the fucking shower instead of the toilet because he's not really toilet trained and he thinks it's the same thing. He was just going in there so one time, I was coming out of the toilet, and the toilet and the shower are next to each other. I was coming out of the toilet, and he was coming into the toilet, and I sort of stepped out of his way, like, here you go, man. I'm out of here now. You can have this toilet now. And he goes, no, I'm going in here. And he walked in the fucking shower. And then I was like, what the fuck is he doing?
There's a real red flag right there.
There's a real red flag, you know. And then, so I did some investigation, a stakeout, if you will. Now, long-time listeners will remember that I'm a poo splatter specialist. From the episode, the porch pooper.
Poo splatter analyst.
A poo splatter analyst. That's
like Dexter.
Like Dexter from the so that was from the episode The Porch Pooper. Go back and listen to that when somebody took a big shit on our porch because we had a fight with our neighbour. Just never end non-stop nonsense with us. Anyway, so long-time listeners will know that I'm a poo splatter analyst, but I also know a thing or two about urine splashes too. So one day I waited until he had left the shower, and I went in there after him to see if there was any evidence. Now, I admit, I went to the drain, I didn't see any piss, I couldn't smell any piss, but you know what else I didn't see? I didn't see anything else you could possibly be doing in this tiny room with nothing in it. He's either pissing in the shower or he's doing drugs, and he doesn't strike me as a drug user. But he does strike me as a shower pisser.
Yeah.
Okay, that's much easier to believe. I believe that straight away. It doesn't shock me at all, right? So long before this email was sent out, I actually pointed out my suspicions to two of my colleagues. I said, this motherfucker's pissing in the shower, and here's how I know. So both of those colleagues will be able to testify that long before the email was sent out, I had a hot fucking lead on what was going on there. Right? So nothing happens, and we fast forward a bit, and now my boss is sending out these emails about golden showers during work hours. All right? Coincidence? I think not. I know who it is. I've got strong circumstantial evidence, but I'm not going to tell. Partly because I don't mind the guy. I don't want to ruin his professional reputation, and partly because I learned a golden rule about workspaces long ago, many moons ago. That golden rule is, and I hope the sexy 160 are listening. The golden rule of the workplace is you must never put your head above the parapet. Okay, you see a problem with the streamline, you see a way to streamline the workflows or something like that. Who gives a shit? Shut your mouth. Do not put your head above the parapet, okay? You just stay down and let the heroes take the casualties, okay? So in this particular case, apart from a fleeting moment of glee when I revealed who the golden shower bandit was, what do I get? I get a big pile of fucking shit in my lap. That's what I get. I'd be called forward to account for my accusations, and it might literally mean paperwork.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You would have to do a golden shower testimonial.
And then, I mean, sure. I mean, some of my colleagues might consider me a hero of modern hygiene for outing this person. But I'm sure that others would consider me a dirty rat. And dirty I may be, but a rat I am not. So I'll hoard my knowledge, and instead of, I'll just sit back and smirk with godlike omniscience every time I see him.
Give him a cheeky wink.
Give him a wink. I'll be like, I am kind of tempted one time.
What? Just
when I'm alone with him, and just be like, bro, I know you're the shower pisser.
Well,
and just look him right in the face, and he will not be able to deny it.
I would keep it more subtle and just be like, heading to the shower, are you? And then just leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll be tempted. I know exactly who it is. And I know that the Sexy 160 listeners, there's actually quite a few of them from my work. And this, I worry that this episode might spark up a bit more interest in the topic.
I hope it's not our director of photography.
I do. I do want to say that I'm not going to out this person. So don't ask. Or if you do ask, just don't expect me to tell you who it is.
Tell me no secrets, I'll tell you no lies.
Ask me no questions, and I'll tell you no lies.
That's the one.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Ask me no secrets? I don't know. Anyway.
No, you got it. So yeah, cool. Well, we should probably wrap this up.
All right.
Your back's probably getting sore.
No, well, luckily what happened was just immediately prior to the show, I had 3 codeines, and I've drunk 2 beers during the show as well. So I feel like $1 million.
This is like
I could do this all fucking day.
This is a habit on the way for sure.
The codeines and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have for a long time dreamed of one day becoming an opiate addict.
And this is the gateway to
This
that.
is the gateway to it. And I'm actually looking
I
forward.
had someone that died of opiate addiction.
Oh, yeah?
I know someone that died of an opiate addiction.
Yeah.
It's very easy to kill yourself.
Yeah.
As an opiate addict. So you just got to be careful, Harley.
Yeah. Well, believe me, mate.
Because
I know
you can't go to LA
if you're dead. Well, I know a lot about opiate addicts. Actually, I grew up around a lot of opiate addicts.
Yeah.
Pretty much every adult I knew was a user when I was
die?
Yeah, of course they did.
So exactly. So there you go. That's quite a problem.
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah, of course. They were dying left and right.
Yeah.
It's very easy to die from an opiate addiction,
Yeah.
as we have just discussed.
Yeah, opioids, yeah. Well, I'm looking forward, when I get to LA, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get off the plane, I'm going to go directly to the medicinal marijuana shop. I'm going to smoke all the weed before my meetings, and then at some point while I'm over there, I'm going to make a detour to Skid Row, and I'm going to shoot up some heroin between my toes with some puddle water. That's
Cool.
my plan.
Cool.
It's all on my list. It's all on my list.
Operation Get Laid in LA.
Operation Get Laid in LA. I also plan on trying that kratom or something like that. It's a legal high that they've got over there. That's an opioid, but it's like legally distinct from an opioid, but is effectively still an opioid as far as your brain and body is concerned. And you can just buy it in the shop.
Remember, what are those things that we used to smoke and they were fucking terrible for you? But
The herbal highs,
yeah.
you mean, like the synthetics?
Yeah, remember those? Remember synthetics?
Yeah, they were terrible.
Remember synthetics?
That was some nasty shit.
Yeah. Purple haze.
Yeah. I used to ledge them.
Yeah, that wasn't a good little period there.
No, yeah.
Well, but that's
in
the
New
thing.
Zealand, we had these really
that's-
strong psychedelic. Well,
That's the-
They
yeah.
weren't even psychedelics. They weren't psychedelics. I don't know what they were, but they were strong, nasty, chemical, legal highs.
They're definitely.
They're
some of them were.
everywhere now. I mean,
Yeah.
America's and all those places have got them now as
But
well.
what's
But they were
weird-
legal. You could just buy them from the dairy.
That's what's weird is
And
that
that would fuck you up.
they
You'd
were
be like,
legal.
I got them from the dairy, and
This-
it's like, fuck you up.
Intense drug, and it's like
Throwing up and shit.
And the reason that we were doing it is because it was legal.
Yeah.
With the belief and the principle
Yeah.
that
Well, that there was some safety checks.
there are some safety checks that would prohibit these if they were bad for you.
Yeah.
Therefore, because
Well,
there
not bad.
isn't-
We know that alcohol doesn't, but like, yeah.
but you know, bad to a degree, I guess.
Or like, yeah.
yeah. So good that they're gone.
Yeah, no, it is good that they're gone. They just need to hurry up and legalize weed, which they're doing next year, 2020. We're having a referendum about it in New Zealand.
Praise be.
Sign up and vote. All right, well, look, we better go. I've got a birthday party to go to, and you're going to the gym.
Yeah.
Also, I'm swamped with a million things I'm meant to be doing, such as I'm casting in 2 days for a short film I'm producing, and it's a short film about a man confronting his abusive pedophile father later in life.
And
it's got some flashbacks to the abuse happening when they're earlier in life. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll make this thing, whatever, let's do it. And then now, 2 days out from this casting, I'm like, well, fuck. Now I've got to do an audition. I've got to do a casting where I'm reading across from a little kid and I'm the molester in front of their parents.
well, what's hilarious too is
As well.
like, you've kind of skipped the beginning of the story.
Yeah, what's the beginning?
Well, you were offered the part of the pedophile.
No, I was offered the part of the hero, or not the hero, but like the main guy who was approaching, who was
He was sexually abused.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he wasn't. I didn't get offered the pedophile part.
Okay, sorry,
this particular case.
my mistake.
Yeah.
You weren't the pedophile. You were just sexually abused.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm just producing it, and I'm not. I don't have any intention of acting in it.
All right.
But it's only because that's just not the type of story that excites me. I like. There's. It's not that those stories aren't worth being told. It's just that I'm not.
Pedophiles don't get you off.
Well, just they don't seem very fun to play. It's not something I can be proud of.
Pedophiles don't do it for you.
No, pedophile roles don't do it for me. But I don't like pedophiles either.
Now we're on the subject.
Now that we're on the subject of pedophiles, I don't like them either.
No.
But I certainly, I'm just like, I've played a gay rapist. I've played a pedophile that gets chopped up with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
You know, like, I've done that. I've been there. I've done it. And, you know, it's not that I'm not brave enough to do those roles. It's that I've done them and I can't be fucked doing them again. But I do have another film coming up, which you and I might be making together with a similar budget, a short film next year. And it's a lot more fun. It's a comedy about dating. And so that will be, I'll definitely take a role in that one if I can.
Right. Is the guy the sexual harasser?
Well, he is a sexual harasser. Yeah.
I'm broadening my range.
I'm
not a pedophile. I'm a sexual harasser.
I'm stepping back from pedophilia and just limiting it to sexual assault. Yeah. So, Yeah, you've got to refine your
That's right, you
characters.
do.
Yeah, you got to refine your performances and just like find your niche,
Yeah.
And so but that one will be a lot more fun.
Yeah. Well, and let's not forget this the other role that's currently being written for you.
Oh yeah, and then there's another one in potentially our third feature film, which I'll also be shopping around in LA, playing a rapist in that one. As well.
Don't forget incest. Don't forget incest rapist.
Yeah. So thanks.
Don't forget that not only do you commit one horrific act, you actually commit two.
Yeah. The life of an actor, eh?
Hey, you want to be an actor?
Well,
what are you going to do?
Yeah, but I want it to be a comedy actor.
You go, yeah, but I wanted to be in nice things where it's just funny and I did funny things. Well, you're in that as well.
Yeah.
So you can't, you got to do them both.
Yeah.
There's not enough work to primarily just be a comedy actor. You also have to play horrific sex offenders as well.
There would be plenty of work if we just made more content. That's all we need to do. I was thinking as well, by the way, that we should shoot a one-day shoot sometime, relatively soon, I guess early next year or something like that.
We can do it before then.
Well, you don't even know what I'm about to say.
That's true.
so
it was a one-day shoot. We could do it before then.
Yeah, so a one-day shoot, which would be essentially it would be a cross between a Guy and Harley show, a Guy and Harley show skit from the internet, the classic Guy and Harley show skits. It'd be a cross between that and the project. And so what it would be would essentially be a proof of concept scene from the project as a standalone little skit that we do, where I'm playing Harley from the project, you're playing Guy from the project, and it's kind of like a teaser trailer thing for the upcoming project, and we can put it online. It'll sort of stand alone in itself as a Guy and Harley skit or something like that as well.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. I think there's plenty of little scenes we could do, and because it's a mocko, we could make it so easy to do that.
Shit, you're just about trying to shoot one episode in a day.
Yeah. I'm all for it. And that also might be...
get someone else to edit it.
That might be the way to get the ball rolling on this as well.
Someone else to edit it.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to work on that. If you're an editor out there, come tune in. Come get in touch, and we'll get you to do a whole bunch of work for free for us.
Because what's happening is we're now trying to push work out to be edited, and it comes back.
Yeah.
It circles back to me again.
Yeah.
It circles away for like 4 months, so we get way behind, and then it comes back.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Editing. That's my cross to bear, man. Jesus.
Yeah. All right, well, on that note, we will wrap it up. Thank you very much for listening to the Guy and Harley podcast. I am sick and sore, and we will do another episode when I'm in LA. I reckon I'll take the laptop over, and we'll have to figure out what gear we need, and we'll do one live from Operation Get Laid in LA. I'll let you know how I'm going.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Well, thank you very much for listening. Patreon.com/Pigville, Facebook.com/Guy and Harley, YouTube.com/Pigville and the number 2. Go check out all our stuff. Hit thumbs up, and we will see you next episode.
See you later.
And now we just have the live streamers, of which there are literally none.
Good to see you guys. Thank you for being here.
Well, to be fair, they might watch later. Like Chuck Black. Shout out Chuck Black. He will show up later on the YouTube probably.
Good to see you all again.
But yeah, it was a bit of a quiet one. But we did start at 2:30 on a weekday. All right. Thank you very much for watching. And please hit follow, and we'll see you soon.